Have you been researching what's involved in an adoption home study and you're feeling overwhelmed? Stay tuned, and I'm going to share with you what's involved in an adoption home study and how I stayed organized so I wouldn't feel overwhelmed. Hi YouTube viewers, my name is Yolanda, and in this video I'm going to share with you the checklist of what you may or may not need for your adoption home study. I recently went through this process myself because I'm in the process of adopting, and I'm hoping that what I have learned and what you have learned through your research on the internet, this will help you stress out a little bit less if you are planning to adopt or are in the process of adopting. So let's begin. First off, who does your home study? A licensed social worker does your home study. I found my social worker who does my home study through my attorney. She had a couple of recommendations. I reached out to them and had like a little brief interview with both of them and basically shared my story a little bit with them, and we took it from there. So after I selected one of them, I got the checklist. It was 4 pages, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is a lot. But as I started actually looking through the checklist, I realized it wasn't so bad. Okay, couple things to remember as we're going through this checklist. One, I live in the state of Florida, so some of the things that I had to do may not apply to you in your state. Okay. Two, some of these things, if you have a husband who is in the going to adopt with you, or you have a boyfriend or a significant other who lives in the household with you, they too may have to do some of these things. Even if they're not part of the adoption, they still may have to do some of these things. Okay, so the background checks or the first thing that I started working on for the checklist. So the checklist had four different types of background checks on it. Okay, there was a child abuse and child neglect. There was a FBI that we had to go get fingerprinted for. There's a state and there's a county. And all 4 of those background checks, my boyfriend also had to do as well. Next, I had to give them a copy of my birth certificate, my driver's license, copy of my insurance, W-2 or my tax return, not necessarily W-2, but my tax return. And all they wanted was page 1 of my tax return. They didn't need the whole thing, just page 1. Then there was a 25-page application that I had to complete. Now this probably took me the longest to complete out of everything because you literally have to tell your whole life story. Where you were born, your mom and dad, your relationship with them, how many siblings you have, what's your relationship with your siblings, how were you disciplined as a child, how do you plan to discipline your child, what's your religion, what do you plan on doing about this, what do you plan on doing about that. Literally, it's a lot. It was a lot. So for that, I literally worked at it a bit by bit every night. It was not something that I could do just straight out. It was just way too much information for me to do it all in one shot. So next, I had to get verification of employment, which my HR department provided. It just stated my name, how long I worked there. I think it may have included my job title and how much I made annually. Then I had to get reference letters. So my home study required 5 reference letters. I know some I've found they only needed 3, but I needed 5. Marriage certificates if you're married, divorce decrees if you are divorced, death certificates if that applies to you, pet vaccinations is also included. If you have pets, that's included. I had to do 6 hours of training, and it ranged from seat belt to pool safety. The seat belt one I believe was mandatory because everybody needs a car seat or seat belt training. It also helps just for your general knowledge about those things, along with pool safety. If you have a pool, I believe that was a mandatory one. I don't have a pool, so I don't have to do that one. But there's a list of trainings for you to do on the checklist itself. Acknowledgement of firearms and safety requirements. In the state of Florida, if you own a weapon in your home, you may or may not have to complete this form. And then the home visit. Now, everybody thinks that the home visit is this whole white glove kind of thing. For me, it was not. For me, she came in and we talked about a few things, and she was pretty much on her way. She didn't go through my cabinets to see what I had, and she didn't run her fingers across the windowsill to see what there does. She didn't check for any of those things. We basically kind of went over some of the things that were already in the application that I filled out, just so she can get a little bit more clarity on some things. And that was it. Now, to keep track of all those things, I didn't buy it because I already had them, a 3-ring binder. I put a 3-ring binder together, and literally I put page protectors on every single piece of paper that I sent her. Even though I had backups of these things, I wanted to make sure I had a copy for myself, just in case something happened, she didn't get it, she'll have it. So when she came, the social worker came to do my home visit, my first home visit, I literally gave her all of these things and said, here you go. It was all in order, aligned with the checklist. Like the checklist said, number 1, this background check. Number 2 was that background check. I literally went in order like that. And as I would go through and complete these different things on the checklist, I would just put a little check mark by the item itself, so I know that I had completed it. And that's pretty much how I did it. It took me 3 weeks to complete my home study, including her home visit. So within that 3 weeks, she was able to come, get everything, work on everything, and get it done for me. My adoption journey is still ongoing, so stay tuned for more videos, and thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.